So after just having a stellar day of price action with Tesla stock pushing upwards, we ended up having another day of Tesla stock falling downwards. And of course, much of this price action downwards is attributed to Tesla cutting prices again. And these price cuts in Germany come a week after it made similar reductions in China. And so with these price cuts that habitually take place with Tesla every few months, it's starting to irritate a lot of the Tesla bulls. In fact, we have Gary Black, who's a fund manager who has exposure to Tesla, recently say that Tesla management still does not see that cutting EV prices and inventory discounts by the same amount is value destructive. He also goes on to say that Tesla is training its customers to wait for a deal. And so interestingly enough, I actually am siding on Gary Black with this one, as you know, I'm seeing a lot of individuals kind of have this expectation that Tesla prices are guaranteed to become much more lower. And so of course this is completely anecdotal, but what I'm saying is I know a lot of individuals personally who want to buy a Tesla, but they're honestly waiting for the prices to go down even further, and they're very confident that they will do or will fall down lower. But for those of you guys that are part of the Push and Profit private group, yesterday I released a private video mentioning that my stance on Tesla currently is pretty neutral. Yes, I still have my long-term position or exposure to Tesla in my long-term portfolio. I'm not doing anything special with that, but as far as trading Tesla, it's right now kind of in neutral gear, as I'm pretty much waiting for the fundamentals to come out on the 24th. I've been saying this for a while. I really don't want to do anything with Tesla right now until we kind of get a little bit of an update on how profit margins and of course how free cash flow, all the juicy stuff is going to look on the 24th. But of course you don't necessarily need to follow whatever I'm doing in regards to trading Tesla. If you find value in maybe perhaps selling out of the money calls for Tesla to collect some premium, then by all means go ahead and do it. I'm personally just not doing anything special with Tesla right now, but of course there's still an opportunity to go ahead and collect some money by either shorting Tesla or again selling those out of the money calls for Tesla to go ahead and collect that premium. But the point I want to emphasize on this video is that we're seeing a lot of frustration from the bulls in regards to Elon Musk and Tesla. In fact, I have this tweet over here that I want to highlight that Gary Black himself retweeted, and it's a bit long, but it's a bit funny as it goes on saying this: Elon to the board of directors, I want more stock. Board of directors, okay, what happened to all your stock? Elon, well, I sold 100 million shares to buy Twitter. Board of directors, how did that work out? Elon Musk, well, I paid 44 billion and now it's worth about 5 billion. Board of directors, okay, let's talk Tesla. How is that performance? Elon Musk, well, I can't stay off the X platform and it has hurt the Tesla brand and sales, and of course the media also doesn't like me. Board of directors, yeah, we know you don't run your posts past us. Elon Musk, I don't need to because I'm God. Board of directors, let's talk performance. How has Tesla done? Elon, I got Tesla to $1 trillion in valuation in the past. Board of directors, that's great, but how about since then? Elon, well, my lack of attention to Tesla, constant rants on X, and selling 100 million shares caused it to lose $600 or $600 billion of that value. Board of directors, okay, how about recent performance? Elon, well, the past 2 weeks we've lost $150 billion of value because I keep cutting prices so I could get mileage data for my FSD dream that may never happen because I keep pissing off the politicians. Board of directors, so you lost $600 billion of value in Tesla, you overpaid for a social media platform that's now almost bankrupt, you keep pissing off the politicians that could help you, you keep lowering the prices of Tesla cars, you sell stock when you want to buy something that's worthless, and now you want us to give you more stock? Elon Musk, pretty much. Board of directors, GFY. Now, of course, some individuals may disagree with this. I'm just saying it was a funny tweet. I still believe that we should probably give Elon Musk, that compensation package that he's looking for, just because, I mean, at this point, I don't want Elon Musk to take away or really stifle the plans on what he's doing with robotics and AI for Tesla. I don't believe he will, but I'd rather just him get his way. Otherwise, he may kind of throw a tantrum, and that may hurt Tesla going into the long term even more. Again, that may just honestly provide more opportunities to buy more as it starts falling down, but I honestly would just prefer Elon Musk to just have it his way and get it over with and not have to wait much more longer. But that's why I'm pretty much not doing much with Tesla. My long-term portfolio, I still haven't bought any more shares. Again, I'm waiting to, hear what the fundamentals look like. And then, of course, as far as the trading account goes, I'm not really doing much with Tesla. There's so many more opportunities that I have been highlighting, especially for those who are part of the Push and Profit private group. I've been highlighting some trade ideas and just pretty much highlighting other opportunities that kind of exceed what's going on with Tesla currently. But along with that, we're also getting negative catalyst news on how Tesla drivers are facing lengthy charging delays in Chicago amid sub-zero temperatures. And of course, this is bad press for Tesla because you have a lot of individuals who were interested in getting a Tesla and now they're kind of reconsidering it. And I mean, it's pretty understandable why, because you have to think about these specific areas, right? Of course, I'm more towards the south, so it does get cold down here, but not as cold as my friends over in the north, and especially in places like, I'm mixing up a whole bunch of cities, but New York, Chicago, and I mean, my people in Canada, they're doing much more worse. But you also have to consider that a lot of the individuals that live in those urban cities like New York or Chicago, well, they don't have the luxury of being able to charge their car in their own garage. And of course, I'm not saying that you need to have a house and, houses are better than apartments. Of course, there's different lifestyle choices. Some people like living in the city, right? And of course, I love living in the city as well, but I choose to live more in the suburbs. But the point is, a lot of individuals that live in those kind of dense populations, they live in apartments. And so once it gets colder, well, it does provide a challenge to go ahead and charge their EVs, especially because, a lot of them are often used up because pretty much everyone's charging their EVs. And if it's cold, well, that could also cause some issues. And so this is kind of, it's kind of like swaying the decision away from a lot of individuals who potentially were interested in getting some Teslas or a Tesla. And of course, this is negative news, and hopefully this does, get resolved in the future. I think areas like New York, especially, need to implement much more charging stations for Tesla, many more, right? It's different because those individuals, most of them live in apartments. They're city dwellers, and of course, you don't have that luxury of charging your car in your garage. And so this is definitely bad news for Tesla, which I'm sure is kind of, just putting more selling pressure for Tesla as well. Alrighty, quick transition to my laptop as my camera ended up dying, guys, before I got to even finish talking about some things from a macroeconomic perspective or pretty much the broader markets. And so we're just quickly on my laptop to highlight a couple of facts. So today we got the Beige Book that came out at 2 p.m. This is a report that comes from the Federal Reserve about 8 times a year: January, March, April, May, July, September, October, December. And so we got the one for January for today, and honestly, it wasn't too bad. If you parse through, of course, I'm not going to go ahead and have you guys read all the pages, but ultimately, just the first line, I believe, pretty much says it all. It says the majority of the 12 Federal Reserve districts reported little or no change in economic activity since the prior Beige Book period. And so honestly, we're not seeing any terrible items on the Fed Beige Book, and that's primarily why pretty much after 2 p.m. When this report came out, we started to see the broader markets push upwards. I believe you actually see this also with the NASDAQ as well. 2 p.m. we saw after this report came out, things were looking good. I think even Tesla around this time. So I guess the overall market started doing well after this report came out, as it wasn't bad news. But ultimately, if we actually look at the S&P 500, although we did have some good news at 2 p.m. with this report, again, you could look through that report yourself, federalreserve.gov, free website, government data, but we're still lower from the all-time highs. We actually fell down much more lower since yesterday, and so that's kind of a bit concerning. We're seeing the markets kind of not continue push up. We actually see the markets push downwards. I still believe that within the next 2 weeks, there's actually an opportunity to continue making highs, although I did discuss some of the reasons within the Push and Profit private group in yesterday's video. But that's pretty much what we saw for today. As far as also an additional piece of economic data, when you look at the 10-year Treasury yields, we're at this 4.1% level. So we're kind of coming up again, and that does put some pressure for the markets. So it's understandable for markets to kind of or equities to kind of push downwards as we're seeing financial conditions tighten again. For those of you guys that may not be familiar with the channel, back in October, I said this was kind of like the bottom as we ended up seeing stocks push upwards while simultaneously seeing the 10-year treasury yields go downwards, highlighting kind of like a financial easing or financial conditions easing. And so that was really good for the markets. That's why we had, crazy, October, November, or I'm sorry, November, December, and then close to, January. It was a great 2 months, but we're seeing things push up again. And so that's a bit, concerning, but we're going to want to continue monitoring this. But I don't want to make this video any much more longer. For those of you guys interested in joining the Push and Profit private group and having access to my daily briefings, there is a coupon code. You simply just type in start now. And guess what? You go ahead and you get a discount of joining for only $18 a month for the first 3 months. Afterwards, it does resume back to its regular payments, but you guys could cancel at any time at your discretion. Again, really, it's not that expensive, $39 a month for all the daily briefings and all the insights I provide. But again, it's ultimately up to you, whatever you find value in. Just wanted to highlight that we do have a discount code to go ahead and join. But with that said, guys, let me know in the comment section down below, what are your thoughts for Tesla? Tesla's honestly something that I'm not touching with a 10-foot pole for right now until we get the earnings. But even after we get the earnings, you know what? Now that I think about it, even if the earnings are great, well, then guess what? Going into the next quarter, we're going to have to update our models and factor in the recent price cuts. But of course, I still need to see the earnings to see exactly where we are from a fundamental perspective. But again, you guys let me know in the comment section below. And before you guys go, consider watching this next video right over here, and I'll see you guys on that next video. Take care, guys.